Good morning. Can I ask you all to take a seat? Let's try and get a little bit more bass in that mic too, please, and get the ringing out. Welcome to 2025, everybody. It's wonderful to have all of you back, to have this room filled again for the first time, and for the ability to get on with the rest of the year, about which I am really excited. This morning we will have official welcomes from Mr. Thompson and from Michael Williams. We will welcome new members of the teaching staff. We will be introduced to our Senior A debaters, to our first 11 cricketers and our first 6 volleyballers, and we'll hear about student learning procedures which are designed to support your learning and to have you flourish as young men of Nudgee. In this week where Australia pauses to mark the coming of European settlers to this continent 238 years ago, we are mindful that for 60,000 years before that, peoples and cultures flourished here. We acknowledge all first Australians. We particularly acknowledge and pay our respects to the Turrbal people of Meanjin, the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways in this area of North Brisbane that they called Nulmadji and Nada. We acknowledge all people of Indigenous descent joining us here in the hall today. And with them and all our first Australians, we humbly and respectfully commit ourselves to reconciliation and walking with them into a great future for this land. As a Catholic community, let us begin with prayer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, parents, and most importantly, young men of Nudgee College. My name is Matt Waugh, and I'm privileged to be the new Dean of Mission and Identity at Nudgee. And just to give you guys a little bit of a brief heads up on me, I've been involved in Edmund Rice education for 15 years in Queensland. I worked at St Lawrence's College in South Brisbane, and for 9 years at Ambrose Tracy College in Indooroopilly. And can I tell you, I've been a long time admirer of all things Nudgee and absolutely love the way that you guys go about your business. Personally, I'm a big fan of anything pertaining to sport, so if you see me out in the yard, any conversations around football, around cricket, around AFL are going to be really well received. And particularly to our first 11 cricketers, who I know will be acknowledged soon, I look forward to seeing all of you guys and your families out at Thurston Road on Saturday against State High. Gentlemen, I have a challenge for you right off the bat, and I want you to do it in complete silence, as I know you can do. I'll ask for a question to appear up on the screen, and without saying anything, I'd love for you to put your hand up, and I'm not going to pick on you, so don't be nervous. Put your hand up if you know the answer to this question. Maybe it won't appear, so we'll just push on. The question I had for you is, please put your hand up. What does Signum Fidei mean? If you know the answer, I'm not going to ask you, just put your hand up. If that's in Latin, I don't speak Latin, never met the Pope. Hand up if you know what it means in English. Don't say anything or I will pick on you. Hands down. Have in your head what you think it was. If you thought it was sign of faith as the English translation, put your hand up. Again, I'm not going to pick on you, so just do it in silence. Perfect. If you said it was sign of faith, you are 100% correct. You're currently on an A+ in religion. However, gents, if I said to you, well, what does that mean? If you were in Coles and someone walked past you and said, great, you're a Nudgee boy, you're a sign of faith, what on earth does that mean? I think you'd get some different answers. One of the things I've loved about Nudgee for the past 2 weeks is how many great food options there are nearby. Big Dad's Pies has been attacked by me 4 times already. And yesterday afternoon, as I was leaving the grounds, I was particularly peckish after a big day with the 5s and 7s and 12s. And I saw this sign, and I'll ask the slide to go up. I saw this sign. I thought, you little ripper, it's kind of fast food, but it's also a bit healthy. Now, I knew immediately, even though I'm not a big custodian of GYG, I knew immediately what was inside. I knew I could get burritos or tacos or nachos because the sign on the outside told me what was on the inside. The sign that was shown outside symbolised what was inside. So if we flick on to the next slide, I kind of want to take it away from my stomach for a moment and talk more about the mission and identity of Nudgee. What does it mean in 2025 to be a sign of faith? I think it means the following. If you think kindness is important and your parents think kindness is important, then do things that are kind. Help people, smile at people, include those who are less popular than you, show gratitude to your teachers at the end of the lesson, because that's kind and you think kindness is important. Because when you wear the uniform you've got on right now, you are a walking, talking billboard for St Joseph's Nudgee College. Because that sign, that crest, tells me what's on the inside and what your parents and who your parents raised you to be. The outside tells us about the inside. And where do we get this idea of our faith from? It comes from this person on this next slide, which you don't get an A+ for. You just know. 2,000 years ago, a guy called Jesus of Nazareth walked around the world and said, it's not about money, it's not about power, it's not about who's the best gladiator in Rome. What he said was, who can be the kindest, who can be the most loving, who can be the most generous? Because that's what's going to make life better. That's what faith is, and we are called to be a sign of faith. I read on everything I see at Nudgee, and I love it. I see this thing, #NudgeeSpirit. I spoke to the captains, and what does that mean? And it's not about cheer practice on Ross Oval. Nudgee Spirit is about being that sign of faith, being that kind person. Gentlemen, something I'm really excited to see. I'll see it this afternoon at 2:54, but I'd love to see you all engage in it now in that notion of Nudgee Spirit, is to lead me in the prayer of St Joseph that you say every afternoon together. This is my chance to see 1,700 people do it. So for all the newbies, the words to the prayer will be on the screen. But otherwise, gentlemen, I'd love to have you lead me in prayer for this morning. So if we make the sign of the cross, please, in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. O God of justice and compassion. And St Joseph, pray for us. St Mary of the Cross, pray for us. Blessed Edmund Rice, pray for us. And live Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, gentlemen. Please say hello to me when I see you around the yard over the course of the next day, week, month. It'd be great to get to meet you all.
Thank you, Mr. Waugh. Gentlemen, on your behalf, I invite Mr. Thompson to the stage to welcome our new teachers, faces that many of you will see actually in a classroom as they interact with you in their teaching and your learning, but also all of you will interact with them in the yard or on supervisions and things like that. So it's important for a practical reason that we know who these people are, but also as a community, we embrace them and we welcome them. You've already met Mr. Waugh. Mr. Waugh's our new Dean of Mission and Identity, and he says he comes to us from Ambrose Tracy College. Mr. Max Christensen comes to us as Assistant Head of O'Brien House and as a Teacher of Business Diploma. Mr. Christensen has spent the last couple of years in Ireland returning home and comes to us in our community. Ms. Lee Knowles joins us as the Inclusive Learning Coordinator for Year 5. Mr. Christopher Herman joins us as a teacher in the junior school. Mr. Herman is one of your 10,000 brothers, so make him particularly welcome. Christina Firmazul joins us as a teacher in the humanities, particularly philosophy and reason. Mr. Luke Gribble joins us from that great school, Gregory Terrace, to teach in our mathematics department. Ms. Sue Groves joins us from Mary MacKillop College and is our new Head of Faculty for Humanities. Ms. Tracy Horan joins us as a Year 5 and Year 7 core teacher. Ms. Farley Thorne joins us as a teacher in the junior school, year 5, I think. And Ms. Artie Thacker joins us for one term to replace Mr. Dumont as a teacher in the junior school. Please make them all most welcome. I'd also like to welcome back to our community Ms. Jo Barrett, who joins us again to teach RE, English and a little bit of PE. Many of you will remember Ms. Barrett. Make sure that you make her most welcome as well.
Good morning, men of Nudgee. I have a few welcomes here, so bear with me as I go through these. Very exciting year 2025, and it's wonderful to have you all back. And as Mr. Mara said, it's great to see this hall so complete and full. I hope that you all had a wonderful break, that you're rejuvenated, that you are refreshed and ready to go. As we know, Nudgee waits for no one and things happen very quickly. So we look forward to a very fulfilling and fruitful term. I'd love to welcome all of the families, and we do apologise that there's maybe not enough seats for everyone this morning. However, it was very important that we got all the boys into the CBC today. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the assembly. Also to all of those families who are joining us online, you're very welcome, and it's wonderful that we can extend our Nudgee community whenever we have an assembly. I was able to welcome our new students yesterday, and we have new students from year 5 all the way through to year 12. And for all of those boys who are established Nudgee men, it's important that you extend that very warm Nudgee welcome to them as you interact with them throughout today. For some of those gentlemen in year 6, year 8, 9, 10 and 11, it was a bit of a quieter day as they did orientation activities, but I know that they're very excited and looking forward to being amongst their fellow Nudgee brothers, their new Nudgee brothers, as they move into the rhythm and routine that we often speak about. For our year 5 boys, this is so exciting. Thought yesterday was a little bit daunting and a little bit overwhelming, and now you find yourself amongst 1,735 fellow students. So I hope that you have a wonderful day today, and I ask that the rest of our community really keep a close eye on our year 5 boys, make sure that they feel extremely welcome. I would like everyone now, just as a round of applause, to welcome all of our new students to Nudgee. Again, I extend that welcome to our new staff members who we were just introduced to, and of course, obviously, our returning staff members, and thank you in advance for all the incredible work that you do that makes this wonderful school what it is. A big thank you to our property and services team, and as you walk around the school, you will notice how beautiful the grounds look, and that doesn't happen by magic. So be sure if you see any of our property and services staff around that you are sure to say thank you to them, say hello to them, and make sure that they feel welcome as well. Just on that point, I will make note of a couple of great improvements that have occurred over the holidays. So any boy who goes into Dewig will notice some very different looking classrooms. So there has been paint, there has been carpet, there has been new furnishing that's been put into the Dewig building. So that now completes our rejuvenation of the Dewig building, with air conditioning being added last year. As you go into Purton, you will notice there are air-conditioned classrooms in the 21 Purton classrooms as well. So I know that that will be very welcomed as we enter February and the humidity that we experience across that. And also it's of note of one of the other major projects, we now have 300 kilowatts of solar panels sitting on roofs of the Learning Centre, of the O'Connor's building, and also McKennery. So thank you very much to the property and services team who made that occur. The commencement of any school is always exciting. Schools are nothing without students, staff and families. And this reminds me of a quote from Pope Paul VI, where he stated that the church is not a building, it is the people of God. Much like the people are the church, we are the school, and these beautiful grounds and buildings become a school again when we fill it. So I commence by thanking you all for making St Joseph's Nudgee College a truly complete and authentic school in much the same way that 10,000 has for 134 years. I'd like to remind our existing students and introduce our new students to this wonderful quote that you'll see on the screen by Brené Brown. What separates privilege from entitlement is gratitude. We're blessed to be in this conference centre today, every single one of us. Some are wearing uniforms, some are wearing a badge that indicates they are staff, and some are here filled with pride as they are about to watch their son walk across this stage. Our goal in life should be to show gratitude in spades. It shows that we are putting others before ourselves as we are called to do what Christ asked us to do. It's something that Blessed Edmund Rice did throughout his life, and we're the beneficiaries of his selfless nature and grateful attitude. Regardless of your background, you're in a privileged position being at Nudgee College, and it's essential that you show thanks for that privilege. Gents, we are a school that provides a huge number of opportunities to all students. If there is something you're interested in, there's a high chance that you will be able to pursue that interest or a version of it at Nudgee. However, it's important to note that we are first and foremost a learning institution with an incredibly rich and enviable history of academic results. Learning comes first, and next week we will celebrate the fantastic results and achievements of our most recent graduates. We will hear about our Ducks and Proxime Assessor from 2025, who are great examples of young men who put learning first, even though they had incredible talents outside the classroom that they were able to continually pursue. My job as principal is to ensure that you are formed well and provided the best opportunities. This includes, first and foremost, in the classroom. What happens from 8:25 to 2:55 p.m. is the main game. All other opportunities that you're privileged to be involved in is the cream on top. What you do in the classroom is of most importance, and in 2025 there will be a number of changes to ensure that our learning environments and experiences are the best they can be. You may ask why it's important that our classrooms are great environments for all to learn. I'm here to say that regardless of your ambitions in life, we want to see you achieve that. I know there are boys in this room who hope to be greenskeepers, a plumber, teachers, professional musicians and athletes, lawyers, doctors, or possibly even work for NASA. Regardless of your goal or ambition, you need to be a highly competent learner who understands the importance of learning something new in every single interaction that you have. So why would we consider changes? And why is a really important question. Simply, we, on behalf of the staff, want each of you to be a genuine, invested and engaged learner. Not simply a doer, not someone who finishes his work without learning a thing, not someone who is killing time in class so that he can get to practice or training after school. We want you to be someone who understands the worth of genuine engagement in the learning process and the benefits this will deliver throughout your life. And so in a moment you'll see some points around the ideal classroom. What does it look and feel like? There's high levels of engagement, low amounts of distractions, consistent experience from class to class. There's high expectations from your teacher, from your peers, and from yourself. And there's great relationships and support. So how do we go at Nudgee? On a whole, not too bad, but there's considerable room for improvement. We're a very good school in so many aspects. And we're always looking to improve. Our learning environments are certainly one area. You may be thinking, how do you, as principal, how do you know we need attention in this area? So it's always important to provide context. And across 22, 23 and 24, there's been a large amount of data, large amount of information that's been captured. So the slide you see the summaries of how some of this data has been collected, and you see a bit of a piece of data there. And it's fairly clear. So this is from students, as you can see there, students at this school. This is students reporting on themselves. You can clearly see there needs to be improvement in the behaviour in classrooms. You can see that other factors score higher than classroom behaviour, and this is on a scale of 1 to 7. So it's obvious from the data, the discussions that have been had across those couple of years and observations that some changes were needed. So what will learning at Nudgee look like from this point? There will be consistently implemented expectations across all classrooms that start with how you enter the room, what you do once you're in the room, and how you know what you are learning through to all the way through to how you exit the room. This will be in every class that you have. It requires you to be on time, prepared and ready to learn to the best of your ability. The graphic you can see on the board will be displayed in all rooms, and Mrs. Chin will unpack that a little bit in a moment. To ensure we have classrooms where teachers can focus on delivering highly engaging learning experiences, we need to ensure that behaviour is at its best, which you identified as an issue through those surveys that you saw. And it's always something that distracts from the learning experience. So Ms. Hale will expand on the graphic that you see on the board there in just a moment. In short, there's no place for students who choose to ignore the reasonable instructions teachers have of them. Gents, we all make mistakes. You may be excited today. We've all had a wonderful holiday. You may be sitting in class, and even though the teacher has asked for you to work away at something quietly, you decide to speak to the young man next to you about something that occurred in the holiday. Now, when you're reminded to correct that behaviour, that's a reasonable request. You need to follow that instruction. If you choose, and this is an important part of it, if you choose to then continue that discussion after, that situation stops being something about you talking in class. It becomes you being defiant to a teacher. And these are reasonable requests. So it's important that you understand what the consequences are if you are defiant. This school's a very special place, and it's a privilege for all to be here, particularly the 1,735 boys who sit before me now. It's pretty clear that we can be even better, and I look forward to observing our classrooms across this year. Finally, I wish the best of luck across 2025. To our senior students, make the most of every opportunity in your final year and enjoy your investiture this evening. To all students, if you see me around during the day, please be sure to come up and say hello. Let me know how your holidays were. Thank you, everybody. Best of luck for this year.
Good morning, staff and students, and welcome to the 2025 academic year. As Mr. Thompson alluded to, last year the CLT wanted to hear about your experience at Nudgee College, and that was in all facets of life. But when you spoke, we listened, and what we heard was that regular distractions make learning difficult for you. So, Mr. Carmody, if you could go to the next slide. I just want you to focus on this slide and solve this problem in your head for me. If I exercise 3 times a week for 25 minutes, how many hours will this equate to per week? Now, no doubt as you're thinking that, you're also looking at all of the moving parts there, and then you've got my voice in the background. Lots of distraction, which absolutely overcomplicates the fact that that's a really simple sum. The answer for those playing at home is 1 hour and 15 minutes or 1.25 hours. You're welcome, Ms. Nardi, I do my maths. But all we needed you to do was a quick multiplication and a quick division to make sure that you were getting that answer in the correct units. But with all of that distraction, that sum became extra hard. So what we know is that too much stimulus and all of the unknown factors in a classroom distract you from your learning. So what we're doing about it is that we're going to reduce the clutter in your classrooms. We're going to put processes in place to minimise screen distractions for you. And we're going to increase predictability through routines. And our starting point for this is our classroom culture. So this classroom culture that we're about to go through is non-negotiable, and it's an expectation for all students from years 5 to 12 in standard classrooms. I will say, if you're in a practical area, your teacher will talk you through what the expectations are in those zones. But all students every day in a standard classroom, you're going to move promptly to class. That really goes without saying. We're going to line up ready with our equipment. That's all classes. No student should be in a classroom before a teacher gets there. Then you wait for your teacher's instruction. When they instruct you to do so, you walk in quietly and you stand behind your chair and you wait to be greeted. This will be consistent. And then we're not going to open our laptops automatically. You only do so when you're instructed to. By doing that, that actually decreases your cognitive load, which means that you're able to think about what you're learning about instead of thinking about, what is it that this teacher expects of me today? Who am I going to sit next to? What did I need to bring into the classroom? Do I stand? Do I sit? Do we pray here? I'm not sure. So this will be consistent across all classrooms, and that frees up your memory to learn. Then during the learning time, we're all going to commit to respecting the learning of yourself and others, because that's our core business. Then we're going to engage with all of the learning, and we're going to seek help if we don't understand. It is not a good enough excuse for us to be sitting there doing nothing if you're not quite sure what to do. That's what your teacher is there for, to help you understand. And at the end of each lesson, you're going to check that you understood. That's your responsibility, to check that you understood against the learning intention or the learning objective that was set at the start of the lesson. As the lesson concludes, your teacher will instruct you about what you need to do next. So we're not going to pack up our bags or our materials because we know the bell is coming soon. You wait for the instruction of your teacher. When they instruct you to do so, you're going to tidy your uniform and your classroom because you look good, you feel good, you are good. And then you will stand behind your chair and you wait for the dismissal of your teacher, because it's the teacher who dismisses you, not the bell. So we're not crowding at the door when it's prayer time. So the hope is that the end result for you is a greater ability to learn by increasing the predictability and decreasing distractions. And the science behind that is called cognitive load theory. And lots of schools are telling us that they end up with about the equivalent of 2 weeks more lesson time to help you embed your learning when we do routines like this. So if we are true to our faith star, these classroom expectations will allow us to live out excellence in each and every lesson. And it won't just be a poster or something we flash up at assembly. Gentlemen, we look forward to seeing these routines in action as we wander the college during each day. Best wishes for a successful 2025.
In the culture of Samoa, the rich and unique culture I inherit, we greet each other with the words talofa lava. The equivalent of this word to us Aussies would be hello, welcome, or a simple g'day. So to start this morning, from my culture to yours, talofa lava. Talofa lava, Mr. Thompson, college leadership team, special guests, and of course, my nudgy men. My name is Michael Williams, and I have the absolute privilege of being your college captain for 2025. Whilst I hope you have all had a relaxed and rejuvenating break over the summer, I can appreciate the shared feelings of energy and excitement for the new academic year ahead. To the new nudgy men, as I spoke yesterday, I understand the increased nerves that would most likely be at a maximum today, now that the entirety of the college is back. However, like I said yesterday, don't be afraid to throw yourselves into new things, new friendships included. Echoing Mr. Ward's wise words yesterday, Be the first to introduce yourself and learn the names of the brothers that stand beside you. You will quickly learn the meaning behind the 10,000 if you buy into the opportunity to make new friendships all around you. To the returning students, welcome back. Although you may be excited or not to get into the new year of learning and growth and exceeding your own perceived limitations, I challenge you to be the nudgy men we have been developed to be. Be welcoming and inviting to the new students that have joined us and help them through the start of their nudgy journey. I give you the same advice I have given earlier, and that is to introduce yourself. Learn names, create bonds, and offer wisdom. You men, more than anyone, know the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts of nudgy. So be the mentor they come to for guidance. Whilst today marks the start of another year of our nudgy journey, I question each of you, how will you push yourself this year? Will you throw yourself into something new, like debating, chess, art, or theatre sports? Will you push yourself in the classroom to get the best possible grade you can attain? Or will you exceed your limitations on the court or field, trying a new sport? Whatever it may be, I challenge you to challenge yourself this year. Something unknown and something new. Here at Nudgy, you are one boy with 1,000 opportunities, so make the most of every one. In Samoan, when we are departing, we say, "Whawhetai tele lava, tō whāsoi fua," which means thank you very much and goodbye, we'll see you later. So in closing, whawhetai tele lava, tō whāsoi fua, and I hope you all have a great day first back. Thank you.
Imagine you are 12 years old, and last weekend you packed up your clothes, said goodbye to your family, and moved towns in order to live with over 300 boys who you didn't know. For many in this room, this was their reality as they began their new life as a nudgy boarder. Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, teachers and staff, and my fellow nudgy brothers. On Tuesday, our community welcomed 79 new boys into our boarding family. Hailing from small towns like Yalarbin in Western Queensland to Cannonvale and Eddy Bay in the far north, regions of Inverell, Yamba and Casino, cities of Adelaide and Darwin, and even Hong Kong. These young men now call Nudgy College their home. Starting a new school is one thing, but leaving behind the sanctity of home and going into boarding is another. Over the past few days, our new boarders have navigated the monumental transition into boarding tremendously well. They have displayed great courage to step outside their comfort zones in order to forge new friendships with the boys who have now become their neighbours. They have demonstrated resilience to adjust to the many new routines, rules and procedures that are necessary for a thriving boarding environment. These changes extend beyond simply adapting to new food or learning to put in your laundry. It's also about accepting the increased responsibilities and expectations that come with being a boarder. We are very proud and impressed at the way you have taken on these challenges and fully embraced boarding life. Perhaps without even realising it, you are already demonstrating nudgy spirit, and your actions are a sign of faith in our nudgy boarding community. With all this in mind, I asked the boys in the day school to also be signs of faith by welcoming and including your boarding brothers into your circle and supporting them as they adjust to their new home away from home. Because not only are they missing mum's cooking, their pets, and perhaps air conditioning, but they are likely experiencing a level of homesickness that only boarders can understand. It is through modelling inclusivity and looking out for one another that we demonstrate that we are authentically a boarding school, not just a school with boarders. Thank you.
Well said, Paddy, and I want to extend a warm welcome to all our boarders as well. Good morning, Mr. Thompson, CLT, special guests, parents, guardians, colleagues, and gentlemen of Nudgy. Before we delve into our plans for 2025 in the performing arts, let's take a moment to reflect on the past year. Our 2024 school captain, Oscar Awati, wisely told his peers, You only get out of Nudgee what you put in. Another phrase I heard from the Nudgee seniors often also was, get behind it, boys. Make the most of your time here and remember to embrace the infinite opportunities available to you. Last year, I presented research from the University of Georgia that reinforced what we know at Nudgee. Sports and arts complement each other. They foster cognitive skills and executive functions, contributing to your holistic growth and your journey to manhood. So let's have a look at that. Let's take 2024 for an example. Some of these boys you might have seen on Nudgee socials over the Christmas break. Dominic Webber, Arts Prefect, second 15 rugby, Senior A debater. Will McGrath, a brilliant GPS swimmer, Senior A debater and oratory winner. Charlie Bell, our college vice captain, a dedicated cricket and chess player. Matthew Rostron, a football player and the only boy out of the whole of GPS that was selected to play guitar at GPS Music last year. And then there's Sam Brown, arts captain, involved in volleyball, rugby, drumline, rock bands, you name it, he was behind it. These young men exemplify balance. They immerse themselves in sports and the arts whilst keeping up with their academics. All of them are now going to study at university this year. At our next assembly, the 2025 Arts Prefects will unveil our new catchphrase. Until then, I encourage you to reflect on what I've shared and consider how you can be balanced in your life this year. Here's a brief overview of what we offer in the performing arts. We have art club, debating, theatre sports, chess, esports, music, tech crew, and writers' circle. If you're interested in any of those activities, you can sign up on Student Cafe, join the Team Stack app, or email performingarts@nudgee.qld.edu.au. Looking ahead, 2025 is set to be an exciting year for the performing arts. Nudgee will hold our very first ever esports competition on the 12th of March. We already have over 17 other schools registered to attend. We have our cultural tour to London and Paris in April, and of course, our wonderful production of The Wiz in May. Semester 1 is shaping up to be a fantastic year for the performing arts. Now, I wanted to take the opportunity to share some exciting news about one of our old boys, Dylan Eastland. He graduated in 2021, so not that long ago, and was deeply involved in arts at Nudgee. He studied curriculum drama with Miss Kilgour. He participated in theatre sports, drama extension activities, and he was in the college musical. After Nudgee, he pursued a Bachelor of Creative Arts, majoring in acting. Dylan has just recently secured a role as a touring actor with Shake and Stir Theatre Co. That is one of the top theatre companies in this country. His journey is a testament to the power of following his passion as a student, leading to a fulfilling career in the performing arts. Dylan is now living his dream, one that was nurtured right here at Nudgee. And grade 10, you'll actually get to meet Dylan later in the year when Shake and Stir come to present to you. Finally, I want to leave you with a statistic I found on the holidays from Australian researcher Dr. Anita Collins. Roughly 34% of Australians have had exposure to learning a musical instrument. Not a small number, but not an overly large number. However, 93% of people working in STEM careers have at some point learnt a musical instrument. I would say 93% is a number of significance. If maybe that is something you're thinking about a career in, maybe you should consider learning an instrument as well. Now I'd like to invite Tejas Ashok to the stage to speak about Nudgee debating in 2025.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, parents, staff, members of the CLT, and my Nudgee brothers. First of all, I'd like to ask you all a question. Who here debated with their parents about whether they should come to school today? Yeah, trust me, I get it. The fact you're here tells me all I need to know about how that went. But what if I told you that I have the perfect solution to winning every single argument? Sounds good, right? Well, here it is. Nudgy debating. Over the years, our old boys have worked tirelessly to build a strong reputation for nudgy debating within GPS schools. This year, we're taking it even further. With your help, we can achieve something never seen before in nudgy debating, a GPS Senior A Championship. Boys, 2025 is our chapter of greatness. The question is, are you in or are you out? It's never too late to start. Now, I won't promise that debating won't lead to some spirited family discussions or friends being mildly annoyed at your superior argumentation skills. But at the very least, you'll be part of something bigger, nudgy debating. I'd now like to invite Mr. Thompson to the stage to introduce the 2025 Senior A debating team. Benjamin Sands. Troy Lee. Thomas Cooley. Sejan Lee. And Tanush Patel.
And our captain for our 2025 debating team, Tejas Ashok. Thank you, Mr. Thompson and Senior A Debating. I'd now like to invite Mr. Pybus to the stage.
"64 days since Term 4 finished, and on all but 10 of those days, some nudgy sport was in action. It's been another exceptional summer of nudgy sport. Good morning, everyone, Mr. Thompson, CLT, staff, guests, and nudgy men. In looking back on the summer, I'll apologise if I don't mention everyone in this room who's achieved success in the sporting arena by whatever personal measure. So here's just a few highlights. Let's start with swimming, where our 2025 captain, Oliver Lindy, was named Swimmer of the Meet at the Queensland State Swimming Championships, where Nudgy achieved the third best club in the state. Angus Cran, Levi Thornley, Link Lauder, Hayden Burke and Daniel Van Luke also put in standout performances, taking home a number of medals each. Old boy Harry Turner, who still trains and coaches at the college, broke the 4x200 Australian record at the World Short Course Championship. In rowing, we had a strong showing at the Queensland State Championships last weekend, with exceptional performances from Alex Watt, who took 3 titles, while First 8 captain Hugh Jackson and Atticus Nielsen took out the under-19 pair and fours. In December, we staked our claim as one of the best volleyball schools in the country at the Volleyball National Championship on the Gold Coast, where the Year 7, 8 and Year 12 performances all brought home podium finishes. Year 11 students Will Dallymore and Oliver Shoughton were selected in the men's national junior and youth squads respectively. 42 members of our cricket community went to Sri Lanka on an outstanding tour packed full of cricketing and cultural highlights. A particular thanks to Mr. Mara, who got a late call up to the tour and gave up 2 weeks of his holiday to accompany the boys. Our first 11 cricket captain, Hayden Hamilton, represented Queensland in the Cricket Australia Under-17 Nationals, where he served as vice-captain of the team, playing a key role in the final. In football, our senior squad travelled down to train at Melbourne City. Arthur De Lima, who left us last year, scored his first A-League goal on his debut for Central Coast Mariners, ironically against Brisbane Roar and old teammate and nudgy old boy Sam Klein. Our first 11 captain last year, Jamie Waddington, is currently in England trialling with Championship club Hull, while another Year 12 student, Ryland Brownlee, is in London, hopeful of finalising a contract at Crystal Palace. A huge summer of tennis for our nudgy community, with players competing in local, state, national and international tournaments. Several players were recognised by selection in the Queensland Junior Team Carnival, and there were tournament wins over the break for Isaac Michael, Alex Page, Oliver Novick, Daniel Lindenberg and Caleb Hopsick. Year 11 student Pratik Navin made semi-final appearances at the World Junior ITF Tournament in Nepal. Also tournament success for last year's captains Eli Page and Lawson Swain, old boy Brandon Walkin at the Australian Open, as well as coach Jaden Court. There was plenty more going on across these sports, with a number of camps, clinics, fixtures and tournaments, as well as ongoing cross-country and strength and conditioning sessions. Thank you and congratulations to all boys who continued their commitment to their sport over the summer. I'd also like to extend a huge thank you to all staff, both teaching and non-teaching, involved across December and January. There were close to 50 staff committed to Nudgee sport over the break, many involved in overnight stays away from their own families. To those students in their first few days of your Nudgee journey, welcome. And if you haven't realised already, it won't be long before you notice Nudgee and Nudgee sport offers far more than your average school. As we move into 2025, a few reminders. Our facilities are amazing, that much is obvious. But it's not the buildings or the fields. It's the people, and more specifically, our behaviours on a daily basis that define our culture. There's a quote on the wall in our sports office. It reads, "Nobody else but us, no other time but now." What it means is it's up to us right now, 2025, to set the culture. Not to look around you for others to do it, not to look at history or tradition. The culture starts with your actions every day. So here's 3 things to have at the forefront of your mind every time you pull on a Nudgee shirt. World-class basics. What does that mean? Turn up, be on time, be on the right kit, work hard, listen to those trying to help you, get the little things right, get better bit by bit, step by step. The problem is not the problem. It's not the thing. The problem is your reaction to the problem. Something will go wrong this year, I guarantee you that. The referee will make the wrong call, the coach will put you on the bench, the opposition player will wind you up, your teammate will make a mistake. God forbid you'll make a mistake as well. What you can control is your reaction to what happens, and that is 100% your responsibility. And finally, when your teammate makes a mistake, you've got their back. If they fail, you've got their back, and they've got yours. That enables you to be brave, to get out of your comfort zone, and go there knowing that you can work as a team, and a team that's more than the sum of its parts. It's outside your comfort zone that the magic happens. Failure isn't losing, failure's not turning up. So 2025, what is Nudgee sport made of? Ultimately up to you. You set the culture every day with every action. World-class basics, take responsibility for your reaction to the setbacks, trusting and supporting each other. As we come into our first weekend of GPS competition for 2025, I wish our volleyballers, cricketers, rowers and swimmers all the best for this weekend when competition begins. In particular, our captains, Oliver Lind, Hugh Jackson, Hayden Hamilton and Flynn Toomey, in their leadership of their respective programs. Gents, good luck in 2025. Nobody else but us, no other time but now. Now, there was a scramble in the sports office this morning as myself, Mr. Lang and Mr. Betteridge tried to remember the last time that we wore our suits and ties, but we made it in the end, so please welcome our cricket director, Mr. Tim Lang.
Thank you, Mr. Pybus. Good morning, Mr. Thompson, members of the CLT, Nudgee students, staff and parents. It's an exciting time for our cricket program as we prepare to kick off the 2025 GPS cricket season this weekend against Brisbane State High School. The first 11 team, as always, will lead the charge and their preparation has been nothing short of exceptional. In fact, the preparation across all 32 of our cricket teams has been outstanding. Every level of the program is in good shape and the spirit of competition is alive and well. From our youngest cricketers to our senior players, each individual is committed to improving, learning and growing as part of the Nudgee cricket family. Over the past few months, our cricketers have committed themselves to many skill development and practice game opportunities to ensure they are ready to perform at GPS level. The first 11 squad has been working tirelessly under the guidance of head coach Justin Stearns and assistant coaches Mr. Bray and Nathan Reardon. There has been a clear focus at every session on refining technique, enhancing teamwork and building mental resolve. Every detail has been carefully considered as we look to break a 15-year GPS premiership drought. We've seen immense dedication and discipline from our first 11 squad members. The quality cricket they have played in recent practice games should excite all involved. This first 11 team has a good mix of seasoned leaders and rising stars, all contributing to a squad that is ready to take on any challenge. What's particularly exciting is the camaraderie within the group. These players know that the success of the team relies on their collective effort and digging deep when times get tough. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Nudgee College staff, coaches and parents who continue to support our cricketers both on and off the field. Your encouragement, guidance and tireless effort ensures that we continue to build a cricket program that fosters excellence, resilience and sportsmanship. Special mention to our second 11 premiership coach, Mr. Lilly, who is going through a tough patch at the moment. All of us at Nudgee wish you well, mate, and we can't wait to have you back around the cricket program soon. So to our Nudgee cricketers, good luck for the season ahead. Step on that field with confidence, represent your school with pride, play the game with passion and battle for every contest. It now gives me great pleasure to ask our 2025 Nudgee First 11 captain, Hayden Hamilton, to the stage to present the First 11 team for round one. Thanks, Hayden.
Good morning, CLT, Nudgee staff, and my fellow Nudgee brothers. It is my pleasure to lead the First 11 in 2025 on the way to hopefully a premiership. The boys had a strong pre-season and are looking great for round one. This is your First 11. Arbe Dalloway, Nate Smith, Jack Burton, Charlie Henderson, Tom Bayo, Corey Stroud, Byron Kratzman, Will Newbecker, Spencer Green, Bill Cannellan, and Ben O'Yellerly. Good luck to all volleyballers and debaters for their season. I would now like to pass on to Mr. Betteridge, the volleyball director. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden, and all the best to the First 11 for this season. It was awesome to hear Michael use the words talofa lava to welcome you all this morning. And in New Zealand, we say tēnā koutou katoa. So I'd like to start by extending tēnā koutou to Mr. Thompson, members of CLT, staff, parents, and of course, the men of Nudgee College. My name's Theo Betteridge, and it's an honour to stand up here as we're about to embark on the 2025 GPS volleyball season. What I love about volleyball, it is the ultimate team sport. Success isn't about individual brilliance. It's about each player fulfilling their role, trusting their teammates, and working together. While a big spike might make the highlight reel, it wouldn't have been possible without a great pass or the perfect set. You could be coming on as a service sub or bringing energy from the bench. Every touch matters and every effort counts. And this idea extends beyond the court too. Our volleyball program thrives because of the dedication of the coaches, parents, staff, volunteers, and supporters, all playing their part to ensure that our boys have the best possible experience. Your contributions make the volleyball community what it is, and for that, I extend my deepest gratitude. To every boy in one of our 42 teams stepping onto the court this season, best of luck. Play with pride, play for each other, and enjoy your time on the court. Regardless of which team you end up in, enjoy what it means to be a Nudgee volleyballer. After months of preparation, our first 6 squad are ready to take on the season, and shortly you'll see those boys come across the stage. Something I thought was worth noting is that while 10 of these 12 boys have been at Nudgee since year 7 or even earlier, only 2 of them have played in the A teams all the way through. Their success has been a testament to their hard work, commitment to their craft, and the resilience they've demonstrated over many years. To the first 6 boys, congratulations. You should be really proud of yourselves and the work you've put in so far. But the real work starts now. Trust in your preparation, trust your teammates, and trust in the 10,000 Nudgy brothers that support you. I'd now like to invite Mr. Thompson and First Six Assistant Coach, Mr. Westphal, to the stage, as well as introduce the 2025 First Six Captain, Flynn Toomey, to present this year's First Six side. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Thompson, members of the CLT, invited guests, parents, friends, and my fellow Nudgy brothers. To all the boys playing volleyball this year, I wish you the best of luck for the season ahead. Remember to work hard, listen to your coaches, approach every training session as an opportunity to grow and improve. And I'll say it again, work hard. In my eyes, what sets Nudgy Volleyball apart is the unwavering support we give each other. Whether you're in the 7Cs or representing in the First Six, your voice matters. Your energy on and off the court has the power to inspire and unite us. That's why I encourage all of you to come along and support our games this season. Your presence on the sidelines does more than cheer us on. It lifts our spirits, inspires our play, and reminds us that we're a part of something much bigger than ourselves. As we step into the season, let's make it one to remember, whether you're on the court, spiking the ball, or cheering in the crowd. Bring your energy, passion, and commitment to being the best versions of yourself. Together, we can create something truly special, a season to remember. Now, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce the 2025 First Six volleyball team. Joseph Costigan. Charles Dallymore. William Dallymore. Matthew Fuller. James Hannon. Cade Harrison. Roman Jones. Declan Maguire. Vincent Meriveka. Benjamin Ryan. Oliver Scouten. Finally, I want to extend my best wishes to the First 11 cricket and Senior A debating for their season. I'll be taking my own advice and cheering you on where I can. Let's bring home Nudgy Volleyball's third premiership. Thank you.
Do the little things right. Be on time, wear your kit with pride. Do your best at all times and try lots of different sports.
Real magic is consistency, attitude and love for your sport.
Show the same commitment and passion
For school and study, as you do for your sport. Accept that you may not win every time.
Prepare well, pack your kit the night before. Treat opponents and officials with respect.
Prepare well with good nutrition and recovery. Get excited for Nudgy Sport in 2025.
Good morning, staff and students. As we are coming very close to the end of a fantastic first assembly, can I just ask that we all sit up really straight, gents, and give me your full attention for the last couple of minutes. Thank you. I welcome back our returning students. It's really lovely to see you all here, and a big well done to our new students who survived your first day yesterday, and I hope it was a great one. This morning, I want to talk briefly about the focus in the student formation area in 2025. We have 3 key focuses that will hopefully come up on the board. Our first one is to continue fostering your well-being and encouraging your resilience. I'm going to talk to that a little bit later on another assembly. The 2 main focuses for today's assembly are very high expectations on standards, and Mrs. Chin and Mr. Thompson spoke briefly about those as well, and about maximising learning and how we as students need to ensure that we are making every lesson count. So Mr. Thompson spoke about the classroom culture, and he showed those 2 new posters that are going up in the classroom. The first one Mrs. Chin has spoken to, and I'm going to speak to the second one, which is what is called the 3 R's. So the 3 R's, very simply, are recognise, remind, and remove. I'll just talk to them and give a little bit more detail about each one separately. So at the recognise stage, your teachers will identify any unacceptable behaviour in the classroom. Examples of that behaviour might include talking when you shouldn't be talking, when you've been set work to do, or the teacher is delivering content. It might be watching things on your computer or playing things on your computer that you shouldn't be. There are many different examples of unacceptable behaviour. Your teachers will set those expectations with you in the coming days. So at the recognise stage, the teacher will explicitly recognise that you are not following a reasonable expectation in the classroom, and they will recognise that and identify that with you. That is your first opportunity to re-engage with the learning. So you've got that first opportunity to listen and then re-engage back with the class content and the learning. If that doesn't happen, we come to the remind stage. At the remind stage, it's simply that. The teacher will remind you that you are continuing to do the unacceptable behaviour that they have already recognised and identified with you. I want to make it really clear at this stage that this is defiance. It's not necessarily now about the talking or the watching YouTube videos. It's the fact that you have failed to follow an instruction of your teacher, a reasonable instruction. At this stage, another really important thing, you are being given a choice. It is your choice. Re-engage with the learning, follow the teacher's reasonable instruction and expectations, or be removed to the student centre. So you have a choice. You have the autonomy to turn that lesson around. If that doesn't happen, we come to the last R. So the last R, there are no more opportunities to re-engage with the learning. You have clearly chosen at that point to continue the unacceptable behaviour that's been identified, has been recognised, you have been reminded about it, and you are continuing. So at that stage, you will be asked to leave the classroom and report to the student centre. So a very, very simple process, something that is happening probably informally. We have students sent to the student centre when they have not been portraying acceptable behaviour, but now we are putting a system around it to ensure that we can improve, and that's the key thing. The big reason why we would need a system like this is really simple: to allow teachers to teach and students to learn. So that process will be happening consistently in all of your classes, just as the entrance and exit process will be happening. I'll just briefly speak to what happens next. So if you are removed from a class, you as the student will arrive at the student centre, you will hand your phone and your device in at the front desk. You will work in the student office classroom for the remainder of that lesson, and you will complete a reflection form that gives you an opportunity to think about where you've maybe made a few mistakes and how you can make improvements. For the teacher will email your parents to inform them that you have been removed and the reasons why that removal took place, and that a detention is being issued. Before your next lesson with that member of staff, there is an opportunity for some restorative and for the teacher to re-establish the expectations they have of you and for you to fully understand those expectations so that you succeed in the next lesson. Finally, with this process, I'll talk to the interventions. So if you are removed first time, you're issued with a 90-minute detention. Your second removal, a 90-minute detention, and a meeting with your parents and yourself and house dean or head of faculty to support you to improve, to ensure that you are maximising your learning in the classroom. If you're removed the third time, then it's a 1-day suspension and a meeting with the director. So a step up, a meeting with the director, either the director of students or the director of learning and teaching. Again, another meeting to help re-engage you and support you. Finally, and hopefully we don't get here, if you're removed for the 4th time, then it's a 2-day suspension and a meeting with the principal and the dean. And I'll just repeat the reason why we are doing this. Because we have listened to you, we have listened to your parents, we have listened to the staff, that we need to make improvements with behaviour in the classroom, and in particular, defiant behaviour in the classroom. There is no reason for a student to refuse a reasonable instruction from a member of staff. And it's really clear in this process that the choice is yours, and you are given many opportunities during this process to make that choice. And I know that the majority of you will absolutely make the right choice because you want to learn. I'll just talk really briefly to some of our other expectations. I'm not going to spend too long because we're coming very close to the end of the assembly, and I know I stand between you and morning tea. But a reminder of our mobile phone and uniform and hair policy. I'm not going to read the slides word by word, but I'll be really simple. Mobile phones, we are a no mobile phone school. We do not see them at any point. Not in PC, not in period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, morning tea and lunchtime. If your phone is seen, it will be confiscated. And there is a process that is on the other slide that explains the interventions that happen as a result. This is not a new policy, so we all need to ensure we understand that expectation. No phones. And then finally, onto our uniform standards. Same policy applies. I've put the summer uniform up on the slide just as a reminder. As far as I can see, we're all looking extremely dapper this morning, and I'm hoping that we continue that standard. But if you are wearing incorrect uniform, that is something that you need to discuss with your PC tutor, your house dean, come to the student centre. But there are infringements that are issued if you cannot adhere to those policies. A really key one is wearing your hat outside. Your hat is on your head anytime you are outside a building, gentlemen, and staff will issue infringements if you are not doing so. It's not on your bag, it's not in your hand, it's on your head. So thank you for, at morning tea, ensuring that that happens. And then finally, to the week ahead. So for today, we are going to go to morning tea, and then you will have a condensed version of periods 1 to 5 as per your Google Calendar. So shortened periods so that you can see as many teachers as possible today. And let's ensure that we are following those procedures as we start with our first lesson after morning tea. This afternoon, or this evening, should I say, we have our senior investiture and blessing for our Year 12s, and I look forward to seeing you there as well. And then tomorrow we have SF, normal SF classrooms for 7 to 10. You will be doing your start of semester goal setting. And then our Year 11s have your establishing assemblies. Okay, so Ryan Hall for Year 11s and Tierney for Year 12s. And then obviously we have our sport starting this week as well. So I wish all boys involved in our sports with our volleyball launch and then our first regattas and matches on Saturday. So gentlemen, as we finish, my very last slide is on behalf of Mrs. Leagood for social justice, and a reminder that all are welcome to sign up to the many, many opportunities that you have to get involved in social justice here at Nudgee. Please take those opportunities. Okay, use the app to sign on, or see Mrs. Leagood in the Edmund Rice office if you need more information. And then I call on Board-in Prefect Archie Mesritz for our first 3 cheers of 2025. Okay, gents, we are going to leave in an orderly manner. So let's have McKenna House first and McGee House. Riley House. Tierney House.